Okay, so not just because it's summer that makes these topics hot, but so many things are happening across the world. So many things to do. And that's why we start there first of all.
2020 is a hot topic year.
Yes. This year, you're not.
From January
Anyway.
right back.
Lebanon's government stepped down on Monday night. This is less than a week after a massive explosion in Beirut killed more than 160 people and sparked days of violent protests. I mean, I saw the explosion.
Incomprehensible, really.
160 people.
Out of carelessness, Delia? Eh? You just put on the things and people are saying to you for years, take them up, take them up, take them up. Remember, they're stored there. It's a danger until the things explode.
Yeah.
And kill people.
Yeah, Prime Minister Hassan Diab, in addressing the nation, announcing his resignation, he called it a disaster beyond measure and berated Lebanon's ruling political elite for fostering what he called an apparatus of corruption bigger than the state. You see that word? You see that
Corruption.
word? You see that word?
It's a country that was already suffering through its worst economic crisis in decades.
Yeah, he said.
Rising coronavirus rates, plus the corruption and the gross mismanagement. And then this going to happen.
Yeah.
Mash up the port, which is the only point of entry for goods to be dropped off. So what's going to happen to the people now? It's tragic.
And as you say, it's a long neglected stash of potential explosive chemicals. This Prime Minister was ushered into power last December, and he came in 2 months after a popular uprising brought down the previous government. His government is composed of technocrats and had been supported by major political parties, including the Iran-backed political and militant group Hezbollah. So now I think within a year, Lebanon will now be choosing their third government.
I saw in the news where Macron, so France is trying to lead a
donors conference.
Right, and a coalition to kind of help them get back on their feet. Problem is that they don't want to hand the money over to the government as it is now. Well, we don't know who the government is, know that everybody resigned. So they're trying to see if they can find groups, watchdog groups, entities that are looking out for the folks there to try and see if they can route the money through those sources. Because next thing you go raise the millions of dollars, or billions in this case, which is what they say it will take to rebuild the country, and it goes and lines somebody else's pockets, and the people still do not get relief. So this is really a tragic story.
Trust me.
Especially when you know it could have been avoided. It's just, you know?
Yeah. And there was a volcano erupted yesterday.
Which part, miss?
I'm trying to remember where in the world. My phone's in the car. But yeah, there was a volcano that erupted yesterday as well. And I was like, oh, there, the blast, the volcano, all that's happening all over.
2020, man.
2020
is that
just
year.
Decide, say.
I'm checking where the
I'm
volcano
going to test
erupted.
your faith, people, but we have to just keep positive and keep holding on to each other and keep moving forward, yes? Indonesia. Earthquake, volcano erupted yesterday in Indonesia. There are 8 new COVID cases in Jamaica based on the last report. Active cases are now 213. Recoveries remain at 745. There are 382 imported cases. 59 patients from that number have returned to their countries of origin. The private sector, rightly so, and civil society, rightly so, they're now saying we need more proactive measures to fight COVID-19. And part of that is putting in fines, temporary closure, sanctions, prosecution of people who don't comply, and businesses with the COVID-19 protocols. Unfortunately, me have to agree with the private sector. Because I'm seeing people who just behaving like this thing here not exist. And there's one thing to endanger yourself. But when you endanger others, that's a totally different ball game. So, and businesses, Simone, are complaining, as we're going to be talking about later, that people don't want to comply. They say you can't enter without a mask. People come in without a mask, and when they remind them that, listen, we can't serve you without a mask, then they get all aggravated and aggressive. They say 6 feet, people complain. Nobody don't want, your personal space is invaded. So it's all of these things that they're saying, well, and unfortunately they say, who go and get it? The businesses. Because they walk in and you're not observing it, then they say the business are going to shut down. So I don't know why we can't just exercise discipline.
But Dela, these measures are no longer proactive. Proactive gone long time, no?
Yeah.
I mean, still, recommendations have been made and we ought to abide by them because they're smart.
Yeah.
They're also welcoming the preparation of interim guidelines for election campaigning. Have you seen on social what's happening with campaigning on the ground? Here, to clear the backlog of tests, we strongly recommend that testing be outsourced to certified private sector labs that can conduct PCR testing. I think that's in the works.
I'm wondering why it's taking so long.
And then this last one is a problem. To aggressively enforce the quarantining of returning residents and others by the authorities so that people don't just step off the plane.
So someone yesterday made a valid point. They said, you know, we're complaining about opening up the place for tourism and that tourists are coming here and they're bringing COVID and whatever. But the same people are complaining about the tourists. Their relatives have come from overseas and we have them in the car, driving them all over the place.
Visiting.
To the beach. And it's not even like them come and them staying home, you know. To the beach, to the park. Because who comes to Jamaica and you're not driving up and down, right? Which makes me ask the question why you come. Because you're here, so if you're coming for quarantine, you know.
Right.
But you still come. And then you drive. So as much as we're saying, it don't matter if you're tourist, if you're returning resident, if you're a visitor.
Rules apply to you too. Facts, Harris, facts.
Where you go? And I think it's important for them, Simone, to really open up testing. Like people should be able to walk in
and get
to somewhere and say, I want to test.
Yeah.
And you have your thing for say you've been tested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I was talking
I'm sure that person who went to church in St. Thomas, never know. And the people in the church
never know.
Had no clue.
Never know.
So.
And there's a theory that a lot of us who are walking around probably have had it.
Asymptomatic.
And we're asymptomatic. So I don't know how close we are to antibody testing, but that would be a good thing because, you know, people need to know.
There's some Hollywood actors. I used to tell you some Milano, one of them.
Yes, who was showing her
negative twice and then just tested positive.
Oh, really? I saw her yesterday with like a clump of her hair in her hand as a side effect from COVID.
Tested negative twice and then tested, so there you go.
All right.
This one, Lord, I tell you, it's the Jamaican people, when we come together, that's why I know we can beat COVID, you know. Because when we come together and decide so we will take on something, we take on something. And Billboard magazine does an amazing cover about the versus battle and left off. I'm going to say it in the Jamaican way. They omitted. Them left off the two generals of versus Beanie Man and Bounty Killer.
Who had the largest viewing audience?
The two generals of versus. The largest audience, the most exciting, everything. Like when Beanie and Bounty running a versus, them just flatten it and done. And Billboard do uncover and decide, say, Beanie, I'm bouncing on the cover.
Billboard, how could you?
Well, girl, let me tell you, Jamaica people who don't afraid of people.
They came for them.
Them, tweet them, take on billboard. Them take on, I don't know who them they take on. Miss Ingrid Riley when she done cuss the right and then she realized she had the right and she said, well, oops, sorry about that.
I know. But she did apologize. So come off of Ingrid.
I'm sorry about that because I didn't know. But me had to say, all Sparks.
Yes, Trisha was not happy.
Sparks wasn't playing. Because Versa's first reply and said, Billboard, thank you so much, but you couldn't have left out Beanie and Bounty. But you see.
So who did the second iteration that had Beanie and Bounty? Was that Billboard that went to rectify it, or was it Timbaland and Swizz who inserted them? I don't know
who insert them. Because you know, Jamaica people good pan that too.
That is what it's supposed to look like from there.
You know, Jamaica people already would have delete everybody when they back away from the
Don't mess.
So,
I'm telling you, when we come together for good, it's really like
out of order. Them out of order to try to leave off Beanie and Bounty. Never, never. Jamaica don't play that. Okay?
No Billboard understands.
No Billboard understands.
Yes.
Lord Jesus, and the people that must have said, it's the Jamaicans. Who left off the I can't see the boss now. Who did this cover and left off the Jamaicans?
You know what's funny about that? In the grand scheme of things, they don't really look at Jamaica. They don't look at the Caribbean and Latin, Latin American markets don't really have a huge impact on their bottom line and them stream. That's why Spotify and them can leave us out until now, right? So, I mean, I don't know what more people need to see that we're
out, but until our music is
of course.
And that's something that, you know, there's another thing, but I'm going to hold my mouth.
No, man, don't only talk.
Because Orville Hall know where I'm coming from.
The things,
like,
so
I was watching a movie, and I WhatsApp Orville, and I said, wow, if we never come from Jamaica, would have almost things that never our dance moves.
Not a joke.
Until the name of the choreographer came up, and me just left it, there's a kind of open a world kind of works.
Yeah.
And me
cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Is it the PNM that won?
Yes, Trinidad.
Trinidad election.
Rowley's PNM wins TNT election.
Rowley's back in.
Yes. All right, still to come, folks, the health benefits of sunlight, and we'll discuss struggles some business operators are having in getting customers to comply with the COVID-19 protocols. Until then, though, we'll head over to the studio for news. Soon come.